Okay, let's talk about something that so many of us run into. Why is it that some of our most loving relationships, the ones that are supposed to be our rock, end up feeling, well, just completely draining? It's a huge question, and today we're going to get into it.
I mean, does this hit home for you? You love your partner, you know the good times are real, but man, at the end of the day, you just feel wiped out. Like you're constantly pouring from a cup that's already empty. If you're nodding along right now, you are in the right place, because we are about to get to the real heart of the matter.
And here's the thing, the real twist, that feeling of exhaustion, it probably has nothing to do with how much you love each other. Nope, it's usually about these sneaky, invisible forces that creep in and just chip away at your connection over time. We like to call them love's silent killers.
So what this all comes down to is a pretty simple idea. Love, all by itself, isn't always enough. I know, that sounds crazy, but think of it like a beautiful building. It needs a solid foundation, right? A strong structure to handle life's storms. And in a relationship, that structure is boundaries.
Just really think about that for a second. A house with no doors or windows. I mean, you'd feel totally exposed, right? Unsafe, you'd have no privacy. That is exactly what a relationship feels like without boundaries. It's just a recipe for anxiety and total burnout.
And when that structure's just not there, well, the fallout is pretty predictable. Resentment starts to bubble up because you feel like you're not being appreciated. Burnout kicks in because you're just giving and giving and giving. You might even start to lose your sense of who you are. And, of course, constant arguments become the new normal.
So how do you even know if this is happening in your own relationship? Well, you got to learn to read the warning signs. Think of them like the little blinking lights on your car's dashboard, telling you, hey, pay attention, something under the hood needs a look. All right, warning light number 1, and this is a big one, chronic resentment. This isn't just being in a bad mood. This is that constant, low-level irritation where the tiniest things, like the way they load the dishwasher or a sound they make, suddenly feels like a huge personal attack. That feeling, that's the leftover gunk from boundaries being crossed over and over again.
Okay, next up we have this feeling of constant nagging guilt. And it's so important to get this. There's healthy guilt and there's unhealthy guilt. Healthy guilt is when you do something wrong, you break your own code. But unhealthy guilt, that's that awful, anxious feeling you get just for thinking about putting your own needs first. That's a huge alarm bell that a boundary is being ignored.
And symptom number 3, oh man, it's relational burnout. And this goes way beyond just being tired. This is a deep, soul-level exhaustion where your relationship, which is supposed to fill you up, feels more like a job you desperately want to quit. You literally feel like you have nothing left in the tank.
So as we're going through this, are you kind of nodding along? Maybe you see yourself in some of these classic yes person signs. It's tough to say no, you feel guilty taking care of yourself, you're always looking for that pat on the back. Hey, this isn't about judgment, it's just about recognizing a pattern, and seeing it is the very first step to changing it.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem, let's not just stay there, right? Let's talk about the solution. What in the world are healthy boundaries? We have to start right here by busting a huge myth. Boundaries are not walls. They are not about keeping people out. So what is a boundary, really? Think of it like this. It's simply the line where you end and someone else begins. The best way I've heard it described is as gates. You install these gates. And gates, they can open and close. They're a tool you use to manage who and what you let in, so you can protect your own energy and show up as the best version of yourself.
And this difference between boundaries and walls, it is everything. See, a boundary comes from a place of love for yourself and for the relationship. It's flexible. A wall, that's built from fear, and it's rigid, designed to isolate. A boundary says, hey, I feel overwhelmed. I need an hour to myself so we can talk about this better. A wall says, fine, I'm just not talking to you. See the difference? One protects the relationship, the other punishes the person. You know, Brené Brown just nails it with this quote. Setting boundaries isn't about being selfish. It's about being courageous. It's about having the guts to love yourself enough to say, hey, my needs matter too, even if it means someone else might be a little disappointed. All right, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? Let's get practical. We've got a super simple 3-step plan to help you start building these boundaries and making your relationship so much stronger. So here it is, the 3-step plan. Super straightforward. Step 1, you have to identify your limit. You can't protect a boundary if you don't even know where it is. Step 2, you've got to communicate that limit clearly, and we have a tool for that. And step 3, you have to hold firm, but with compassion. People might push back, that's normal. Your job is to be kind, but not to back down on what you need. Okay, for step 2, communicating. This little formula is basically your secret weapon. It is so simple, but it is so powerful. It's, I feel, when you, I need. This is pure genius because it's not an attack. You're not saying you did this. You're just talking about your own experience and making a really clear request. Let's see this in action, because this is where it really clicks. Yelling, "You always interrupt me." I mean, that's just going to start a fight, right? But what if you tried, "I feel unheard when I'm interrupted. I need you to let me finish my thought." Whoa, see how different that lands? It's so much easier for your partner to actually hear that and work with you. This is a total game changer.
And look, I gotta be real with you. When you first start doing this, you are probably gonna feel guilty. That feeling is totally normal, especially if you're used to being the yes person. When that guilt creeps in, just gently remind yourself this is an act of self-love. It's not selfish, it's necessary.
And this brings us to the really amazing, kind of counterintuitive part of all this work. You'd think setting boundaries pushes people away, right? But it's actually the opposite. It pulls the right people closer and creates a connection that's way deeper and more honest.
So let's really get this straight. Boundaries are not barriers that block love from getting in. They're bridges. They're the structures that allow respect and honesty and real love to flow safely between two people. They make your partnership able to withstand anything.
And this, right here, is the ultimate payoff. Just think about it for a second. If you're never allowed to say no, then what does your yes even mean? It's just an obligation. But when your partner knows you have the freedom and the self-respect to say no, then your yes, oh, that becomes a real gift. It's real, it's genuine, and that's how you build amazing trust.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. What is one no you need to say in your life right now so that your yes to your partner, to your friends, to yourself can become so much more powerful and so much more meaningful? Thanks for joining me, A. Okay, let's talk about something that so many